Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Abdullah the Butcher. Happy birthday, which was actually January 11th, but we celebrated on January 10th, to you. How about that? Oh, yeah. Let me get things situated around here, and we will get on down to some break on through, because you know that's what we do. Now I'm doing this one-handed, so give me a break, give me a minute. Here, listen to me. Get some break on. Okay, there we go. Now we're gonna go on down and flip it around. I'll show you the man of the hour, the man with great power, the man who is always sweet. And you know, old JC is never sour. There we go. There I am. There I is. Now it's time for us to get down to some good old-fashioned biz. Yeah. There we are. Look at that. Wait a minute, that's backwards. Let me turn it back around. There we go. I ain't supposed to see myself in the camera. That's how that works. Give me a second, guys. I was a little bit late, as you already noticed, I'm sure. Now I'm trying to get it together. God gave rock and roll to you. Gave rock and roll to you. Gave rock and roll to everyone. And now I can't tell if I'm on or not. Oh, there we are. Man, I just sang God gave rock and roll to you. Oh my gosh. All right, here we go. Right? Now, okay, now we got it together. All right. That took a minute. It's okay, man. I got plenty to talk about. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be happening. It's going to be now. So, without further ado, I welcome you all to break on through. And in the spirit of tonight's subject matter, I put on my Abdullah the Butcher baseball cap, which was given to me by the man himself the first time he came to see us at the Star Bar in Atlanta, Georgia. Champ, if you happen to be watching, I'm sorry to tell you I got to take it off because I keep this house cold. And my ears are freezing, brother. Cherished item. Now, I know y'all thinking, hey, he might get it together sometime this evening. And I would say, you know what? You're right. I might get it together this evening. Is that light too washed out? Okay, it's fine. All right, now I'm here. Now it's time to break on through. What you gonna do? Well, we are gonna break on through. And man, I ain't gonna dilly-dally and all that. I'm gonna get right down to it, man. Saturday, January 10th, we drove down to the good old town of Riverdale, Georgia, and we pulled up into the Prince Hall there in Riverdale. It did not look like a place where Antiseen would be playing, but it did look like a place where you would honor such a esteemed guest as Abdullah the Butcher. And so, as it was going to be the birthday celebration of the year. We had all kind of stuff planned. And like most things, the plans kind of go awry at some point. But, man, we got it together and we had a blast. Abdullah had a blast. And I'm going to tell you what, when it all gets down to it, that's all that mattered to me. We got there around 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We helped our new friends in the Groove band load in their PA, and a pretty nice PA too, if I might add. We got in, we set the stuff up on the stage, and man, this banquet room was huge. We met a nice lady that told us her name was Queen Willow. Very energetic, high energy personality, which was a very welcome person to talk to when we had so much to get ready. And I want to thank our road dog, Brandon, who jumped right in there, and he helped them set up that banquet room. And man, I'll tell you, it was a lot of, man, there had to be 400 chairs in there now. And they covered them all with white cloth, and covered all the tables with tablecloths, put a purple silk stash right through the middle. It was really nice. It looked really great in there once it's all said and done. A lot of work, but well worth it in the end. And of course, you know, they're working right along with that elbow grease just going was Queen Malika, manager of Abdullah the Butcher. Her son Chico was there, man, all a bunch of great people. And we finally got to meet face to face with Michael Lacey from down around good old Florida town. He's been quite a asset to Team Abby. He's the one that started that official Abdullah the Butcher Facebook page. I mean, there's Larry Shreve's page, and there's I Am Queen Malika page, but now there's also one that's just solely dedicated to Abdullah the Butcher going ons and posts and photos and everything. It's a very good page, and I want to thank Michael for all the hard work he's done on that. I want to thank Michael for all the hard work he did this night. Man, everybody was putting it in now. I'll come back to Queen and Michael and Chico later, but you know, as things tend to do, the things got behind in the scheduling, but things finally got on track. Man, I was standing out there in the hallway with me and Mondo. We were talking to a Barbara Goodish, the widow of Bruiser Brody, out in the hall, which, by the way, meeting her was a pleasure. Such a wonderful person to talk to, very informative, and, you know, we were out in the hallway talking to her, and all of a sudden, in walks this guy with blonde hair, and I recognized him immediately, and I said, "Somebody say something about wildfire?" And man, he looked over at me, he just came over and gave me a big hug. He didn't know me, but I guess since I used his tagline, he was happy about that. But, man, there were a lot of wrestlers scheduled. About a third of them didn't make it. But I'm going to tell you who was there, okay? Buff Bagwell was there. Now, all these guys live in the area. the Barbarian was there. I just told you about Tommy Rich. Some people from the Hart family and Hart Family Associates, all the way from Canada. Ross Hart and Bob Johnson. I mean, I had some really nice conversations with Bob Johnson, man. He was an older gentleman, and so he was telling me about, being up there in Canada and going to some high school dances around that time when he was 16 to 17 years old, and said the band that played his high school dance was had some guys in the band called Burton Cummings and Randy Bachman. They would later become the Guess Who. And then minus Burton Cummings, Bachman and a few others would become Bachman Turner Overdrive. So I always like hearing these great stories from my elders. It's always good to listen to your elders. Let them talk. Let them tell you, even if you heard the stories before, let them talk. You'll learn something. You will learn something. Because regardless of what you think right now, you don't know everything. Can I get an amen on that one? So, anyway, we were supposed to start the evening, and there was a little mix-up about what time we would actually go on, and if we had to wait till Abby was actually there. And Queen Malika and Michael had to go cross town. Now, if y'all know anything about Atlanta, man, if you think getting, for those of y'all that are here and know how bad traffic is in Charlotte, well, you can just imagine Atlanta is about 5 times worse. And it's a Saturday night, okay? They had to wait on, first they had to go over there and they had to get Abby ready, which I'm not even sure how far it was from the hall to his residence, but, and on top of that, had to wait for a wheelchair van that was rented. So as you can imagine, it took a little bit, but we decided we're going on. We're just going to go ahead and go on. And man, we there we go. Come out of the gate. Mondo gives us our big intro. And here we are playing. And there's only a few people there that look like they even know or are hip to what Antiseen's about. Most of the crowd had no idea what was getting ready to happen. And it sure did make things a little intimidating when some of your childhood heroes are sitting there turning around looking at you. First and foremost was I'll tell you, let me explain. The stage was huge. And they had these steps going down to the floor. And then right in front of the area where we play was a banquet table where they were letting their guests of honor sit. And I guess the plan was to have Abdullah and Malika right there in the middle. But the seats that got taken up, and turning around looking directly at me the entire time was none other than Tony Atlas. And man, I'm thinking, we're going to start playing. Tony's going to all of a sudden go, oh man, I got a headache. I need to find me somewhere else. And I figured that was what we had in store, but it was not the case, man. He stayed, turned around, grinning from ear to ear the entire set. And I'm going to do something right now that I'm not in it's not customary for me to do. I don't like to do this. I like to let the bumps in the road just be bumps in the road. But I'm going to do a little confessional here tonight. And I'm going to be completely transparent. Because that's what everybody wants these days. Well, here I go. Man, we got to Sabu, which is right toward the end of the set. And I have been experiencing, for the last year or two, what is known as noise fatigue. Like once we start playing, man, and it gets to a certain point, man, my ears just kind of shut down. They give up. Like, we can't make sense of that, man. And so they start Sabu, and I don't hear the song at all. And man, we got through. I don't know how, but we got to the end. I turned around at Barry at one point and I said, bail out, bail out. And we got through it, but I needed about 5 seconds for my hearing to get, I just needed 5 seconds of quiet. You know, not I told the whole audience to be quiet or anything, but I just, once we did it, I was able to finish the set out no problem. You're like, Dad, what are you going to do about that, son? Well, I'm telling you what I'm doing. I'm going to have to start using in-ear monitors. And I've talked to my son-in-law, Jake, up there at Sweetwater today, and I already got my gear ordered. So, gonna be a funky good time from here on out. But enough about the bump in the road. Man, we got through it. And during that period where I needed a little bit of break, I said, do y'all want to know something intimidating? I said, well, it's intimidating when you got Tony Atlas staring at you the whole time, which I probably just said a minute ago. But anyway, we finished, we get through. We ended the set with our slow version of Abdullah the Butcher of Dear Abby. And then we let the slow part kind of swell a little bit, and then we go right into the fast one, thinking we'll give some time in case he comes through the door. Well, we finished. And he wasn't here yet. So then they started getting the food out. Everybody's kind of calming down now, being happy, you know, because the food's finally here. And everybody's loading up. We are no exception. Meatballs, fried chicken. God, what else do we have? Spaghetti. Everybody, we were back at our table, eating and everything, and man, all of a sudden, and I gotta say, In the Groove went on next. Unfortunately, they didn't get to play as long as I would have loved to hear them play. But I'm telling you, every song they played are songs I knew, even some of my favorites. They played Boogie Oogie Oogie from Taste of Honey. And I told the lady as a singer there, I said, you know, when you started doing that, I always jumped up on stage and joined you on that one. I was just kidding. But she was like, oh, yeah, you should have. I would have loved it. I do hope we get to cross paths with In the Groove again at some point. You know how we do, man. We like to have groups that play different genres of music open for us. When we just played in Charlotte at the world famous Milestone, which I'll get to that in a minute, we had 2 hardcore honky-tonk country bands open for us. So you're saying, so you would have a soul and R&B band open for you? Indeed, we would. So if anybody from In the Groove is hearing this, man, if you want to play a show with Antiseen sometime, you just let us know. Okay, we got. Oh man, the crew's here. Mondo, Walter W. Wilham, Willington, Wheat, and the Road Dog, Brandon. They're all here. Yes, they were very cool, Walt. Very cool folks. Now, Clinton Zilla is going to be, when he transfers this over to YouTube, when I'm talking about these folks, he's going to insert some of the photos that I have of the stuff I've talked about. And I'm going to tell you something that was kind of I consider it to be a full circle moment. We played Invader One Must Die right in front of Barbara Goodish. Now, I don't know if she was able to understand the lyrics or what, but after we were done and I was changing my shirt or my clothes or whatever I was doing, I texted Widowmaker from Cocknoose, who Invader One Must Die is originally their song. And I told Justin, I said, man, That's a full circle moment here, man. We just played Invader 1 in front of Brody's wife. You know, we had a little back and forth about that, and I don't know why it felt like an accomplishment, but it did. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Well, man, anyway, In the Groove is playing, and all of a sudden the ushers from the Prince Hall. Oh, there's Barbara right there. Hey, Barbara. It's great meeting you too. Quite an honor. But the ushers came, and you know, you said they were making the whole, and I guess they had some pre-recorded music they were to play when he was coming down, and here he comes. Ladies holding his butcher time signs up, you know, and Michael Lacey had the esteemed privilege of being the one to push Abby's chair down the little walk of fame there, and I told him that was an honor, man. That's an honorable position to be in, and I said, you deserve it, and I mean that. And he comes down, man, and the people were there. It sounded like there were thousands of people there with the excitement everyone was creating, and everybody lined up, you know, along the aisle and kind of bottlenecked down at the bottom. And Tony Atlas had the thought to bring him one of those gold plastic forks, which, you know, Abby kept in his mouth during most of the trip down to the front. Still the showman, still know how to get over. And I walked down to the front, you know, just cheering him on and everything. And at one point there was a little clearing, and I kind of leaned in and waved at him, and man, his eyes got big, and you know, there we were both tearing up. I reached over, gave him a big old hug. Then he got to the front, man, and Tony came out, sang him a little song, talked over him a little bit. Tommy Rich, you know, came out, entertained everybody with his stories, you know, but then it gets where Abby's talking, and man, all, you know, and all of a sudden there's tears all over the place, man. Then was the awards part of the evening, where they were giving out awards. I'm going to show you, Art. I showed it to you at the beginning. I'm going to show it to you real close, real quick. Right here. And I knew we were going to be asked to come up and receive an award, but everybody was giving like real meaningful acceptance speeches, and man, I didn't have anything planned, and I'm usually good on my feet. I'm usually good at you know, coming up with something right there on the spot. But that night, man, I don't think my acceptance speech was you know, going to win me any other awards for acceptance speaking. Just a bunch of, man, I love you, Queen, I love you. I think I said something to the effect of, you know, maybe kids starting bands when we did, they want to be Mick Jagger or Roger Daltrey. I said, man, I wanted to be you. So, yeah, whatever. It was what it was. But I was very honored to accept this for the band. Let me read it to you. Presented to Antiseen. We got the Abdullah the Butcher Award for Hard Rock. Celebrating the undisputed heavyweight champions of Hard Rock Award. Recognizing Antiseen, who embody the high energy spirit of a live performance, reigning Hard Rock champions after years of service. This will hang in the Break On Through studios forever. Can you dig it? And, you know, we watched everybody else get their awards and listened to all the nice accolades for our guest of honor. And while I was up there, he said to me, give me a record. Where's a record? I need a record. I I said, Abby, I'll give you records all day long, man. So we went back and we signed him up a copy of Falls Count Anywhere, which if you've seen any of the pictures, and I think Clayton will have some on the YouTube version. Man, I gave him that record and he held on to it. And when all the cameras started coming around, he put one corner of it in his mouth and do the, Man, what an honor. What an honor the whole evening was. And Queen Malika, gave a really, really nice speech there at the end. And man, and look, I'm going to bring the mood down a little bit for a second, but man, Malika catches a lot of crap on social media, as you can imagine. Lots of tough boys in their basements, saying mean things about someone they don't even know, and it takes its toll. When she was talking about a little bit of that, well, then Chico, her son, got up and he started making a speech, and he actually said out loud things that a lot of people were thinking, and man, I got a little spirit in me right then, and I talked to him at the end as he was still on the stage, but everyone was kind of milling around Abby, and I just said, look, man, I said, the Lord says, tell you, and I spoke this word over your mama before, and I did. No weapon formed against her shall prosper. Malika, if you hear this, if you're hearing me now, or if you're hearing this in the playback, you can count on that. Amen. But anyway, people are saying, hey, it must have been it was a wonderful time. And I'm going to tell you something, man. Our Clinton Zilla's saying something to me right now. I can't imagine what your past selves would think if you got to go back and tell them where they would play this past weekend. As I was setting up this little display this afternoon, the First Lady came in and she says, oh, that's so great. A nice tribute to your beloved friend who, and she goes, did you ever think it would be like this and that he would value you and the boys in return? And I was like, no way, man. I've told the story 200 dozen times, man, about me and my brother watching Mid-Atlantic, and where he was brought in to attack Wahoo McDaniel, and we watched it. We'd only seen Abby in magazines, never saw him in action, and there it was. And man, things changed for both of us that day. I'm telling you that right now. But 85 years old, 85, and had just suffered 2 strokes. 2 strokes in a row. Been in the hospital for about the last month and a half, 2 months maybe. I don't know. It's been a while. But God's got a plan for Abdullah the Butcher. I don't know what it is yet. Maybe he don't even know what it is yet. But it's coming. But I will tell you, it was a night that we will never forget. And when it's all said and done, you forget all the little hardships and the stressing that happens while you're trying to put something together. And I'm glad it works out that way. I'm really glad it works out that way. But happy 85, Abby. Congratulations to Queen, her family, Michael Lacey, man. You all put on something that no one's going to soon forget. And we got to perform in front of some of our heroes. We got to meet Barbara Goodish. And it was all around winning evening for us. So, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Now on to other things. I mentioned the milestone a few minutes ago. Have y'all seen the documentary, How to Save a Milestone? It is now streaming on Prime and Apple TV. You gotta pay to get it right now, but it's not much, man. It's like $4 or something. Well, Sunday, I did an interview on Instagram. And if you go to their Instagram page, their Instagram is called The Milestone Documentary. And you can see there, and you can only allow a few people on at a time, and the lady that was working it, kind of was letting some other people on, and I kind of got bumped, but I got a good chunk of time right there at the beginning. So if y'all want to watch that, it was, I thought it was a pretty good interview. I'll see what y'all think. I don't know how to share from Instagram to Facebook. I know I'm not very good at that kind of stuff, but yeah, go check that out. And if you haven't seen the documentary yet, give it a look. My good friend Jeff Williams, that's one word, capital J, EFF, WILLA. Anyway, he was asking me, do I remember seeing Abdullah versus Rick, the Beastmaster Link at the Concord Speedway? And I do, man. Talk about an insane night. What a spectacle. At the Speedway, the whole thing ends when Rick and Abby go fighting out onto the track and just keep walking until they just disappear out of sight. It's dark, and you don't see them anymore. But, of course it was bloody. But, which brings up another subject. Rick, the Beastmaster Link, he has been going through a time, quite a time. Man, on Christmas Day, he was put into hospice. And I'm sure most of us here know what being put into hospice means. It's for a smooth transition. Well, one morning he wakes up and he feels fine. His appetite's back. They check all of his stats, man, and they're like, man, you're fine. And he said, well, put me in a regular hospital then. And keep in mind, at this point, he's been 1 week without his dialysis, which he has to have. But here he is. And but now he's back in hospice. And I'll tell you what it was. I was going to do a post about this, but this is my podcast. I can say whatever I want about this, man. I was reading the post that his sister has been making and keeping everybody informed, man. The reason he's back in hospice is because of hospital policies and red tape. Oh, well, since he's done this, we can't put him back on dialysis. Now, who knows how long it's been, but he's back in hospice now. So I will ask the same thing I asked when he was put in hospice the first time and came out again. Keep those prayers coming to Rick, Beastmaster Link, and his family. And, man, that's all I can say. Because if I'm being mean, if I may be, you're just being bitter about this. I don't think the hospital is going to do much good for him. So let's go that route. And there's Wild Bill, man. I met Wild Bill at the Abdullah birthday show, man. Wild Bill's a up-and-coming wrestler himself. I have a feeling one day I'll have some Wild Bill figures down here. So, man, you just keep at it. You hear me? You do like we did. You just don't stop. People tell you, man, damn well, Bill, it's time for you to give it. No, you decide when it's time to give it up. You just keep on keeping on. And Clarence, a.k.a. Blowfly, went into hospice 10 years ago. Man, it's been 10 years since Clarence died? Yeah, good gosh, man. Time is flying by. Speaking of Clarence, you know Uncle Tom that plays in the Blowfly band, a.k.a. Tom Bowker, we have still not heard hide nor hair of him since October 5th. So if you're listening and you're in the Miami area and you know of Tom Bowker's whereabouts, would you please get in touch with one of us? DM or something. Mick Williams with us. Mark Deals with us. Chad Cochran. Chad, I've been liking the posts you've been making, brother. You keep on keeping on too, son. But, yeah, I know I got off of what I was saying, but let's get right back down to it. Keep this prayers coming for Rick Link. Okay? I recently got something in the mail in the form of a compact disc. Do y'all remember those? Well, if you don't, I'm going to flash it up to you real quick. Look at there. This is called Click Your Fingers, a tribute to Rocky Erickson. Now, anybody watching this podcast more than likely knows who Rocky Erickson is. But I'm going to tell you what, and I'm not the biggest fan of comps. I'm not. I never have been. I guess the last comp I really liked when I was a kid was Flex Your Head. And when I got older, it was Dead Presidents soundtrack, parts 1 and 2. But, and some Ocean Boulevard comps. Man, I guess I like comps, but I don't like being on them. But I'm on here twice. Let me tell you who else on here with us, man. I'm gonna skim Brian Scorch, which does a excellent version of Nothing in Return. October, The Happy Casualties, Before I Hang. Y'all know who that is? That's Walt Wheat's little punk rock side project he's got going on. Had it going on for a little bit. Rancid Vat. Y'all know our partners, Rancid Vat. Josephus and George Jonestown Massacre. Kiff. Negative Reaction. A new up-and-coming combo that you should probably keep an eye and an ear out for. I'm gonna tell you something, and I don't mean to be negative, but I'm having a hard time reading this, man, with all those colors. I really can't read it too well. But Malcolm Tent and Pissy Chrissy, which so far, for my money, they have the best track on here. I love it. Pissy Chrissy has an amazing speaking and recorded voice. You hear me? Chrissy, your voice is perfect for recording. Hammerlock. And we're talking about Mark Deal, Dual Exhaust, who also do Nothing in Return. An excellent. That's almost one of them songs that you can't mess up, man. We do, of course, our original version of Two-Headed Dog, and then a live, unreleased version of The Singing Grandfather, one of my favorite Rocky Erickson songs. This was performed live in New Jersey last year, recorded by the Malcolm Tent Mobile Unit. So not only do you get two Antiseen songs, one of them is unreleased. So Clayton Zilla's right here. His label is called Nothing's Cool. And I think he's got a Nothing's Cool Facebook page. If not, you can go to Clayton Zilla himself and say, "Hey, Hoss, you got to tell me something." And he'll be forced to tell you. So get it. You need it, so go ahead and get it. And man, I got good news. Ever since we got home from the fabulous Abdullah the Butcher 85-year birthday, 85th birthday, nothing but good stuff's been happening. Man, I got a picture of the cart of 500 Clayton and Wensil records that went by UPS today. What is today? Tuesday? That means I'll probably have them next Tuesday. But I can tell you this. The next episode of Break On Through is going to be live from the wonderful town of Mount Pleasant, North Carolina, where we will broadcast live from within Steve Wensil and Trent McNeil's Kingdom Corner. That's right. Clayton and Wensil will be performing live, and we'll be talking to you. It's not going to be like, oh, we're going to do a concert. We're going to, it's going to be very laid back. We're going to try to get some of the other band members to join us. And we're going to play for you. And we're going to talk about the record. And we're going to show you stuff about the record. We're going to tell you what's coming up next in the future for Clayton and Wensil. It's a lot. The future is now, man. It's happening. I also got photos from TKO Records of all the print that is now in their possession of the Eat More Possum reissue. And I'm telling you what, I couldn't be happier. The poster alone is going to be worth whatever price I try to gouge out of you. It's going to be worth it. And only a few people have seen it. Walt saw it today, and his reaction was favorable. It's a great looking poster. I would show it to you, but I kind of want to leave some parts a mystery. But yeah, lots of good stuff happening, man, all the way around. Let's see. Who's saying what, and what are you saying, man? Well, heck, I've done a good 45 minutes, man. So I guess, what do you need, Terry? Eat More Possum? Clayton and Wensil? We got it all for you. We got it all right here. Man, 2026 is going to be the year the Antiseen gets really, really busy. So busy, it's going to make you dizzy. So, buckle up. It's coming. And man, tune in tomorrow to Malcolm Tent on his personal Facebook page for a little Ted Talks Tunes. At least I'm pretty sure he's going to do it. I'm sure he's going to have plenty to say about Abdullah, the Abdullah birthday party as well. And I just want to thank everyone for tuning in tonight. You know I love you. I spent years flipping your middle fingers, spitting at you, throwing stuff at you, catching stuff on fire. Oh, whoa, wait a minute. Amy Lynn just let something out of the bag. Terry Myers refused to comment on it. But this Saturday, Terry Myers' band will be playing The Rooster. Terry and Amy, I'm sorry. I will not be able to make it, but I am, if you will send me a flyer, like on DM or something, I will post that flyer, and we will use our power to get as many people out to that rooster as we can. I'm sorry I won't be able to make it. I have previous engagement going on Saturday that I must attend. But you hear that? The Myerses. Terry Myers is going to be playing live this Saturday at the Rooster. So, man, any of y'all that can, please go out and support them. And I'll tell you what, and don't forget to send me that flyer now. And I'll tell you what, yeah, you heard me say it a second ago. I love you. The Lord loves you. And I hope every one of you have a great rest of your evening. I hope you have a fantastic week. And if it can even be possible, I hope you have an even better weekend. Thank you for Barbara Goodies for tuning in tonight. Barbara, once again, honor meeting you. And this has been this week it's been a weekend full of blessings. And it ain't stopping now. Ain't no stopping us now. Y'all didn't know I knew that song, did you? All right. Well, listen, y'all. See you next time on Break On Through. We'll be live from the Kingdom Corner in Mount Pleasant, North Carolina. Tune in. You're not going to want to miss it. Ain't no telling what's going to happen at the KC. All right, y'all. Take care.